Board of Chosen Freeholders Women's Month celebration. The contributions that women have made to the history of this nation are rarely acknowledged. Most of the children in this country grow up not knowing that women are at the forefront of the anti-slavery, civil rights, social reform, suffrage, and the gay rights movements. They stood up and continue to stand up for others, but only few have stood up or stand up for the women. This evening, we want to just briefly tell you a little about the story behind the yellow rose. And if you notice, when you came in your program, it would have a rose on it. And the story behind the yellow rose goes like this. After weeks of intense lobbying and debate within the Tennessee legislature, a motion to table the amendment was defeated with a 48-48 tie. The Speaker called the measure to a ratification vote. To the dismay of the many suffragists who had packed into the Capitol with their yellow roses, sashes, and signs, it seemed certain that the final roll call would maintain the deadlock. But that morning, Harry Byrne, who until that day had fallen squarely into the anti-suffrage camp, received a note from his mother. Phoebe Byrne, known to her family and friends as Miss Phoebe. In it she had written, hurry, hoorah, and vote for suffrage. Don't keep them in doubt. I noticed some of the speeches against, they were bitter. I have been watching to see how you stood, but have not noticed anything yet. She ended the missive with a rousing endorsement of the great suffragists. Leader Carrie Chaplain Cat imploring her son to be a good boy and help Miss Cat put the rat in ratification. Still sporting his red boutonniere, you know, they all wore red boutonnieres back in those days, but clutching his mother's letter, Byrne said yes. So quickly that it took his fellow legislators a few moments to register his unexpected response. And Gil, you probably know what I'm talking about, right? Of America, and ended half a century of tireless campaigning by generations of suffragists, including Susan B. Anthony, Alice Paul, Lucy Burns, and of course Miss Cat, to get the word male in effect out of the Constitution cost the women of this country. Guess how long it cost them to get this passed? 52 years of pause, less campaign, but we finally got it passed. He also invoked the fury of his red rose carrying peers while presumably avoiding that of his mother, which may very well have been the most daunting of the two. The next day, Byrne defended his last-minute reversal in a speech to the Assembly. For the first time, he publicly expressed his personal support of universal suffrage, declaring, "I believe we had a moral and legal right to ratify." But he also made no secret of Miss Phelps' influence and her crucial role in the story of women's rights in the United States. "I know that a mother's advice is always safest for her boy to follow," he explained, and my mother wanted me to vote for ratification. So does that show you how strong we women are? Even if we are a mother, we can change the world. And that's what this mother did with her son. She had him to vote for what was right, and he followed her advice. So ladies and gentlemen, in your package, you will see this yellow pamphlet that we're giving out to everyone. We want you to read it. We want you to also understand that the yellow rose is a significant symbol of what happened on the day that the vote was cast for women's rights. Thank you, and we will continue with our program. the distinct honor to introduce Ms. Layne Brooks to offer the opening prayer. Reverend Oates is the executive pastor of the New Day Ministries in Montclair, New Jersey, under the leadership of Senior Pastor Bernard R. Rawls. She is the president and founder of Mulvey's Theatrical Productions, bringing the Word of God to life on stage since 1995. She also works for the Essex Regional Educational Services Commission as an administrative assistant to the superintendent, and Dr. Jacqueline A. Young, where they have been committed to student success and providing quality education services for over 25 years. At this time, we'll ask Pastor Brooks to come to the microphone.
Good evening. I would just like to first take this time to just thank Freeholder President, the Honorable Blondie Watson, for this opportunity. Thank you. Let us bow. Father God, we come before you this evening to just say thank you. Thank you for being a part of the 2013 Women's Celebration. We just thank you, Father, because it's important to remember the women that you have put in place to be the forerunners for things that need to be done. We thank you, Father, for honoring these three women, Father God, because they are the backbones of things that need to happen, of people that need to follow them. We thank you for their example, and we thank you for the hearts that acknowledges the efforts and the work of these women. We just thank you on this evening for just, as everybody's assembled here, to let these women know that we appreciate them and that we honor them on this evening. We just thank you in the blessed name of Jesus. Glory, hallelujah, and amen.
Thank you, Pastor Brooks. At this time, we will ask Kathy. Where's my Kathy? Oh, okay. Kathy, we would ask if you would please lead us in the Star Spangled Banner. Kathy is one of the members of our Freeholder staff, and I'm sure if you call the office, you will hear Kathy's voice sometimes. We just love Kathy, and most of the time, our county exec always steal Kathy from us to sing the Star Spangled Banner. So this evening, we will ask Kathy to lead us in the Star Spangled Banner. Kathy, please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free, and the home of the
Again, we want to welcome you to our Women's History Month celebration. And I guess you're wondering why I have my hat on this evening. I attended a luncheon for the welfare department today, and they asked if I would be their guest speaker. But it said women in hats. And we all wore hats to this luncheon. And you know, it was so nice to see women come into a luncheon with their hats on. Because you know, we don't wear hats like we used to, ladies, no. But I was really excited about that. And if you notice also, the pin that I have on, it had a hat, the pin to recognize women this month. So I am really excited to be here in front of you. And you know what, Nia? They called your name as being one of the most prestigious women in Essex County. And you know I have a loud hat. And I got something to show you on that. Okay. All righty. Okay, so let's move on. We will do at this time, I have my chef here. And normally we don't ask him to come and speak to us. But Chef Frontour, would you do us the honor and come up and just greet the women of Essex County?
What a great honor. And I tell you that, I must say that you pulled off the impossible. You have had it Nia Gill. I never thought I would see the day. But here it is. Congratulations on it. Of course, at first I got shook up. I thought it was another St. Patrick's Day party. But there's so many of those this month. You know, the young man that voted as his mother gave him the advice, the story that you just told. My mother, whom I loved very dearly before she passed on, never gave me any advice. She gave me a lot of commands, but she never gave me advice. And I'm sure that may have been more than advice on that young man's part. As one who was raised as just the only boy in the family, my sisters were much brighter than I was, much more disciplined than I was. I learned that early on in life. My mother was much smarter than my dad. I love him dearly, but that's just the way it was. So I, had an appreciation. I never told him that, but I knew that this is the way it was. And it still is. As the father of 3 daughters, now I'm certain. Before I still had a bit of doubt, but now I'm definitely sure that they're much smarter than the rest of us are. So I really appreciate your work, and to Arlene and Gail and Deborah. I already deputized them, so they've been duly deputized, and not to worry about that. I congratulate you, and on behalf of all of us in our county, appreciate everything that you do, that all of you do for us. And just keep on trucking, and if there's anything I can do for you, anything, please let me know, because you make my job a lot easier. Believe me when I tell you. If the guys behave the way the women do, we wouldn't have as many problems for me to stay as busy as I do. God bless you all, and congratulations to you all. Thank you very much.
And at this time, representing our county executive, we have with us Mr. Alan Abramowitz, the Deputy County Administrator. Mr. Abramowitz.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you for having us. On behalf of the County Executive, I welcome you. I hope the honorees enjoy the presentation you have. You always have a wonderful time here. You always do, whether it's the Irish or African American or whatever, you always do it. You do it right, Ronnie. I would just like to talk about this for a moment from a personal note, because when I was 18 years old, I went to work in a textile factory, and I had to join the International Ladies Garment Union in America, LGW. And my aunt was there, my grandmother was there, and the first day they handed me a badge, and the badge had 69 cents written on it. And I had no idea what 69 cents meant. So I was going along for a couple of days, and I asked something, what does this mean? And they said, that's what we believe a woman is paid in comparison to a man for doing the same job. And that stuck with me for 30-odd years now, and we hope that time has passed and things improve, and in some instances they have, but in other instances we know there's a long way to go still. So presentations like this for Women's History Month and celebrating women's history is important, and it makes you reflect and think about your own personal life and what you can do to make things better, and hopefully that's what we're accomplishing today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. And at this time, we will ask Freeholder Clark to please come up and introduce our elected officials in attendance.
Good evening, everyone. We've got a great crowd assembled for yet another Women's History Month as we wind it down. One is not born a woman, one becomes one. And a strong one at that, I would say, as I introduce some of the people who are in attendance right now. You met her already, but I like to introduce her. But you know what? I'm going to save that comment until the end, as I usually do, so I'll wait. I'm going to acknowledge our clerk, Deborah Davis Ford. Will you please stand? And we have another clerk in attendance with us, and that's the clerk of the city in which I reside, our clerk, the Honorable Cynthia Brown. Please stand. We have a woman who, Sheriff teased her a tad about her hat, but just does an outstanding job in the New Jersey State Senate, has fought for an awful lot of things that matter to women, children, and families. It is probably the thing that's closest and nearest and dearest to her heart. So will you please welcome our Senator, Nia Gill. Sharifa Salam, where is she? She's our attorney, one of our attorneys, Sharifa Salam. Deputy Freeholder Counsel. Natalie Dunstan Harrison, Deputy Surrogate. Where is she? And a person that our surrogate, Ted Stevens, speaks very highly of. You've met the inimitable Sheriff Armando B. Fontoura, the best sheriff in the state of New Jersey, in the United States of America, and the only sheriff in Essex County. That's it. James, where's Mr. Pitts? Hailing from the great city of East Orange. James Pitts, Undersheriff. Wesley Coleman, whose firm is from Marketing and Compliance, a marketing and compliance consultant. Is Wesley Coleman here? No? Okay. You met him. He told the wonderful story about the 69-cent button, but he is our deputy administrator, and I call him affectionately my personal tutor because, you know, Senator Gill, I am benefits challenged at times. So Alan Abramowitz, our deputy administrator. There he is. I was wondering if he was here, but he's here. He's always here. He's sitting over there in the corner. And if you're lucky, you might get a kiss from him and possibly a little angel for your lapel. Doc Fester, why don't you stand up? Our Essex County Health Officer, Dr. Fester. Is Philip Thigpen in the audience? I have a court card for him. He's not? Okay. Chief Doe, where are you? Chief Doe's out there. Chief is out. Okay. Well, right now, these are all of the dignitaries that I have. Oh, okay. Freeholder President wants me to read this one so that you know who this is from. Dear Freeholder Watson, thank you for your invitation to your upcoming annual Women's History Month program scheduled for March 27th. However, since I will be out of the country, I must regretfully decline your invitation. Please be assured that the Essex County Prosecutor's Office remains committed to the services that the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders provides to the community. And certainly, I'm going to add parenthetically for her that there's a bureau that deals with domestic abuse. And so that she says, sincerely, Carolyn A. Murray, our acting prosecutor. If there are any other dignitaries that I miss, we can always come back and get you. Thank you very much. At this time, I also have the privilege of introducing elected officials who are here. The one that I see, and did you acknowledge No? Okay. Well then, the one elected official who's with us besides our sheriff is none other than a historic figure in the labor movement and a gentleman that we are really, really, really fortunate to have serving with us, and that's none other than Freeholder Gerald Owens. Once again. Okay. And the other person that is in the back there, I didn't get a card on her, but I just happen to know she's here. And that is a person who works closely with our public safety arm and with the county, because she runs the school for the Juvenile Detention Center. She also runs a number of other programs that work hand in hand with the educational institutions throughout Essex County. That's none other than the Honorable Dr. Jacqueline Young, Superintendent of the Essex County Educational Services Commission. Dr. Young. Well, I get to do something right now that I very much enjoy. When you've seen somebody grow, you've watched somebody grow, you've had a chance to listen to them, you know their pedigree, you know from whence they come. You literally knew their mom, you know their other siblings. And the Drinkards family is legendary throughout Essex County in New Jersey, and possibly throughout the United States. Some of the singers who were part of the Drinkards, Anne Drinkard Moss, Sissy Drinkard Houston. You know those names, and you will get to hear a member of the offspring of Anne Drinkard Moss. You're going to hear her baby girl. And I know she's looking down right now, Mrs. Watson, smiling, because she always knew what we always knew in East Orange, that this child could sing. I'm delighted to introduce Felicia Moss Eaton, and her husband is right here. I won't steal her thunder. She's going to introduce you. Felicia Moss Eaton was born in Newark and raised in East Orange. She's a member of the Drinkard Singers, a gospel pioneer family singing group. She has been a backup singer for Dionne Warwick and Whitney Houston and Cissy Houston, and travels twice a year overseas as backup vocalist on Dionne's My Music and Me tour. Felicia is a proud wife and mother and continues to work for New Hope Baptist Church in Newark and church communities as a whole. And what's not down here is something that we had an opportunity to recognize her for at the Freeholder Board, and that is that she's about to release her own solo album. It's called Season to Smile, and so she's going to bring that smile and that voice. The next voice you will hear is that of Felicia Moss Eaton.
Thank you, Carol. I like to look at Carol as a big sister. She's more like an auntie these days now. I'm just going to take this off. I'm going to do a selection that hopefully a lot of us will remember in honor of women and Women's Month, Phyllis Hyman. I'd like to just bring her memory back a little bit, and then when I'm invited back, I'm going to remember my cousin Whitney. So this first selection is a jazz tune. It's not jazz, but you know, you'll probably remember the song Somewhere in My Lifetime. Somewhere in my lifetime, you've been here with me. Oh, so close to me. Somewhere in my lifetime, somewhere in my lifetime, I have kissed your lips, lips so tenderly. They've been kissing me. There were visions, oh, so long ago. Memories come and go. So they say, yes they do. They're visions of what will be. Somewhere in my lifetime, it was you and me. You and me. Somewhere in my lonely dreams, you've been here with me. Oh, so close to me. And I've been loving you. Somewhere in my lifetime, oh yeah. Somewhere in my lifetime, somewhere in my lifetime, it was you and me.
Ooh, it's nice to have an instrument and know how to use it. Let's hear it for Felicia one more time. Well, I get to come back now and present my honoree. You know, Rhonda Hansen said, a man's got to do what a man's got to do. But a woman must do what he can. So I'm not talking about anything, I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. This young lady that I'm about to introduce, I've known her a long time. And some of you might have had an opportunity to experience some of her flavor, some of the many, many things that she does. My honoree is Gail Bell Bonnet. Gail, why don't you join me here at the podium while I read about you. Let's give it up. Gail is our first honoree tonight. And though she hails currently from the city of East Orange for the past 30-some odd or 40-some odd years, she is a daughter of Trinidad and Tobago. She's a Trini. And before moving to New York, and then she was born in Trinidad and Tobago before moving to New York, and then eventually settling in New Jersey. She's a prominent member of the Caribbean community, and she works hard to celebrate and encourage the vibrancy of Caribbean culture and heritage through several organizations. She allows me every now and then, once a year, when they have flag raising and other ceremonies, she allows me to wear the red, white, and black and be a little bit Trini. Some of her organizations are as follows. She actually founded the New Jersey Carnival Committee in 1986, which led to the East Orange Caribbean Carnival and Parade in conjunction with the city of East Orange, making it the second largest such event in the metropolitan area, outside of New York. She co-founded the Pan Jersey Steel Orchestra in 1986 and the Trin Jersey soccer team in 1990. She and her husband, her late husband, keep her in prayer because she lost him not too long ago. She and her late husband, Wendell, hosted an annual community sports and Father's Day picnic from 1990 to 2008. She also is active in the community, and she keeps in her community where she is involved in efforts to feed the homeless and provide educational and recreational opportunities for youth. She is employed as a residential property manager specialist with Murnick Properties. She was married to Wendell Bonnet from 1989 until his passing in 2012, and she is the proud mother of Larry Bell Jr. and Larissa Bell, and the loving grandmother of Gabrielle. And you're gonna see Gabrielle a little bit later. I just want you to know that this is a person who everybody knows in the city of East Orange. When you say Gail Bell or Gail Bell Bonnet, everybody knows her. She has a radio station that tells the truth and shames the devil. but you have a little fun while you're doing it. Proud of her roots, proud of this country, and certainly proud of Essex County. And we are proud of you. So Gail, thank you so much for agreeing to be my honoree tonight. It's a privilege to be able to give you this Women's History Month award. And it's fitting that the theme, Madam President, for Women's History Month is inspiring innovation through imagination. Gail, you have certainly done that, and I pray that you'll be able to continue to do it. The plaque reads Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders hereby commends Gail Bell Bonnet for embodying the spirit and accomplishments of women everywhere. Our president, our vice president, who's not here right now, and myself, in celebration of Women's History Month. And this resolution mirrors this bio that I read of you, and it's hereby issued to you. Ladies and gentlemen,
eyes on me. First of all, I would have been in tears after that song. It's one of my favorite songs with my husband. So it was very appropriate because you see how the Spirit moves you? He's here with me tonight. Okay, so today is such a special day for all women. I am deeply honored to have been selected by the Board of Chosen Freeholders, along with the other great recipients, as I am recognized for Women's History Month. When I look back reflecting on all the great women of the past, I was fortunate to have met some of them. Some who I later read about on occasions as Women's History or Black History Month. It is such a great feeling to say to my granddaughter, when she does these types of projects, that I was able to meet the great Shirley Chisholm, the great Angela Davis, and many others. Keeping all of this in mind, I was born in Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Coming here as a young girl was not an easy journey. That brings tears to my eyes. When people in the Caribbean came, and I was a young girl, there was no such thing of educating people of cultural differences. So just like everybody else, I got flogged all the way through too, okay? So I said that to say though, that I keep a live quote in my mind. A successful woman is one who can build a firm foundation with bricks others have thrown at her, okay? Well, I may not have the riches of others, but I do have integrity, loyalty to my community, which comes solely from my heart. And when you continue to devote yourself to people, you become so distracted from all the negativity, which helps us to accomplish a great more. I want to also thank my family and friends who would always be there in times of need. Remember that when you find yourself on the side of the majority, it is time to pause and reflect. So once again, I thank the Board of Chosen Freeholders, the Honorable Carol Clark, for the wonderful recognition, and close by saying, I am so proud to be a resident here in Essex County. Thank you again. Wendell, this is for you.
Freeholder Owens, thank you so much for being with us. I didn't see you sitting in your favorite chair over there, so, but we have to let the other freeholders know what they missed. That's right. Let me just talk a little about my honoree. You know, I'm excited this afternoon, because of my honoree, Deborah E. Collins, Esquire. I have the distinct pleasure of introducing one of our own. This honoree is a member of the Essex County family and a true professional and example to us all. And at this time, would you please welcome none other than Ms. Deborah E. Collins to stand with me. This afternoon. Deborah Collins is the director of the Essex County Office of Small Business Development and Affirmative Action. She is responsible for implementing a plan of action to ensure that small women-owned and minority businesses have an opportunity to compete successfully for public contracts. She received her BA in Spanish and MA in Spanish and Spanish American Literature from NYU. And after a brief career teaching Spanish, she earned her Juris Doctorate degree from Rutgers Law School in New York. Ms. Collins worked in corporate America on Wall Street as Global Manager of Employment Litigation at J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs. She's a trained litigator and spent several years in private practice as a labor lawyer representing unions. She was an associate general counsel for the New York City Transit Authority, where she defended employment discrimination cases. She served as a deputy assistant vice president of affirmative action and disadvantaged business enterprise programs, and later became the first special counsel to the chief of transit police, specializing in employment discrimination and affirmative action matters. Just recently, Ms. Collins was featured in the North Jersey Women magazine. And it said so much about Deborah that I won't be able to express this afternoon. But just let me read just a little bit of what this article is saying about Deborah. It said, one example of Collins' heartfelt, hands-on approach occurred in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy, when her office was contacted for emergency services, remembering one independent contractor from Essex County whose business was failing. SPDAA helped the minority business owner obtain contracts for the emergency services. And only through the resources and efforts of the SPDAA was the business boosted and ultimately saved from economic disaster. Additionally, Deborah, this is what I'm so happy and proud of. Collins is enthusiastic about upcoming opportunities when New Jersey, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen, when New Jersey hosts the Super Bowl in 2014. Deborah will be working with Business Connect, the host committee, to the National Football League. She will help identify qualified women and minority business owners to bid for contractual work, and the NFAL will need the professional services of local business entrepreneurs, including florists, event planners, decorators, caterers, janitorial services, transportation, marketers, and much more. So if you want someone to go to work for the Super Bowl affair, just come down to the county and look for Deborah. But Deborah, we are definitely so proud of you. For certainly you make a big difference in people's lives in Essex County, because I certainly remember when you first came, it was really a disaster. But things are looking up. You're an eloquent speaker at various county events. And ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating my friend, Miss Deborah E. Collins. That reads, the Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders hereby commends Deborah E. Collins, Esquire, for embodying the spirit and accomplishment of women everywhere. Presented by Lonnie Watson, Patricia Sebo, Carol Clark, in celebration of Women's History Month. Congratulations.
I mentioned to someone earlier today that this has been a season of blessings for me, my season truly to be blessed. And when I heard that the freeholders were honoring me, I was floored. I was floored. I appear here regularly every quarter and have done so for the past 7 years. And normally I speak extemporaneously, but I'm so full this evening as I look out and see some of my sisters from Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I see another dignitary in the audience. He didn't stand, but Robert Onley, who is very special to me, and the former Director of Homeland Security for the Delaware Port Authority, and many others who've just come out to pay us all homage. So I have a few prepared remarks, and I'm praying to get through them. In light of the season, I trust that you will indulge me as I paraphrase scripture and ask the rhetorical question, can anything good come out of Essex County? As my pastor would say, you'll get that one when you get home. 7 years ago, there were many naysayers, many doubters. However, this esteemed Board of Chosen Freeholders and the county executive have proven the doubters and naysayers wrong. Government can be innovative, caring, courageous, transparent, and still be effective. The progress we've made is nothing short of astounding. Someone said that to me just the other day. From 0.5% to 30% of our contract dollars going to small, women-owned, and minority businesses. but no one person is responsible for this success. I may be the catalyst, but I know better than most the importance of teamwork. Our compliance manager, Wes Coleman's here. Our office manager, Tammy Marshall, who manages our office and keeps my calendar straight. I don't know how she does it. I can barely tell from day to day where I'm supposed to be. It's all so busy. But our team also consists of our colleagues in purchasing, accounts and controls, public works, parks, the county exec's office, the county administrator's office. It's amazing how many people work together to ensure that there's a level playing field for our target population. I'm so proud of this award, and I'm humbled by it, President Watson. I'm so humbled by it. It's just amazing. So I say thank you from the bottom of my heart for your unwavering support for the work that we do. It's made such a tremendous difference in the lives of so many people. They tell us each and every day how important this work is to them. So in answer to the question, can anything good come out of Essex County? Yes, ma'am. I'm proud to say, certainly, many good things come out of the county and will continue to do so as long as this board and the administration support our work. Thank you so much.
Before I call the next honoree, I'm wearing my hat, and I keep saying to you, where's Gil? I should have you stand up here with me. Come on up, Gil. This young lady I admire. When Winona Lippman was living, Gil worked with Winona Lippman, and I always say that Winona was my heart. I tried to be like Winona and act like Winona. She was just a gem. She could walk the halls in Trenton and cross the aisles, and no one would know if she was Republican or Democrat. She could get a bill passed when nobody else could get one passed. And all that you learn from Winona is certainly showing in you each and every day. So we're going to talk about our hats off to the women. Hats off to the women who bears children with labor pains, completing families. Hats off to the women who rears the young, making her baby suckle at her breast. Hats off to the women who tends to both, husband, children, others with care and love. Hats off to the woman who does all things for others' sake selflessly all her life. Hats off to the women who keeps the home and raises the children. Hats off to the women who bears hard and burns the midnight oil for family. Hats off to the women who contributes fiscally by working in a workplace. Hats off to the women, who patiently toils to keep the harmony of her home. And then hats off to the woman who can also extend tender loving care to old age.
Hats off to the woman who has God first in life and sacrifices for the rest. Hats off to the woman who can smile to all despite her grief, anguish, and strife and heart. Hats off to the woman who turns the home a virtual paradise on earth all life. Hats off to the woman who loved to slug and toil to raise her family with love. Hats off to the woman who's an angel to all by being a good example.
Thank you. Okay, and now I have the distinct honor of honoring a young lady that I don't know her that well, but I was asked by Freeholder Seabold if I would introduce her honoree and present to her honoree the award. Freeholder Seabold has been out for a while. She's recuperating from a fall, and we hope that she will be back with us very soon. But I'm honored. I'm honored to have the privilege of making this presentation to Ms. Arlene A. Johnson. Would you please come up, Ms. Johnson, to stand with me while I read? A. Johnson has been a resident of Livingston for the last 38 years. She has been very active in township affairs as an elected official and as a volunteer. Some of her political accomplishments have been: she was a member of the Township Council from 2007 to 2010. She served as mayor in 2010, and I remember that. She served on the Planning Board, Environmental Commission, Arts Council, and Open Space Trust. Arlene is the founder, co-chair of the Livingston Green Team. She's a 20-year public library trustee, a 38-year member of the Livingston League of Women Voters, and a New Jersey Political Caucus board member. Last but not least, Arlene A. Johnson was the founder of the Livingston Citizens Institute and co-chair of the Livingston Bicentennial Committee. Ms. Johnson has an extensive professional resume, spanning from a social studies teacher to a business owner, author, and management consultant to businesses and governments globally, specifically addressing workforce and workplace issues with a focus on work-life strategies, techniques for flexible management, and women's leadership advancement. Ms. Johnson earned her BA from Mount Holyoke College, her M Division from Union Theological Seminary, and her MBA from the Rutgers Graduate School of Management. Wow. She is married to Keith R. Johnson. Is that Mr. Johnson right there? And they are the proud parents of Ingrid and Anna, and the loving grandparents of Emerson, Kelly, Stevens, and Anika. Please join me, ladies and gentlemen, in congratulating Ms. Arlene A. Johnson. And with pride and honor, Ms. Johnson, I present this plaque to you, and it reads, "The Essex County Board of Chosen Freeholders hereby commends Arlene A. Johnson for embodying the spirit and accomplishments of women everywhere." This is presented to you from Blondie R. Watson, Freeholder President, Patricia T. Bowles, Freeholder Vice President, and Carol Clark, Freeholder. May God bless you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. As my fellow honorees have said, I was and am very humbled by this honor. And I want to thank Sheriff Ventura, Lonnie Watson, the Board of Freeholders, Senator Gill, Mr. Abramowitz, and all of you distinguished people who honor me and my fellow honorees by your presence here. Thank you very much. It's great that the Board of Freeholders does this each year. And it's wonderful to be in the great line of women whom you have honored in the past. And I know that as I stand here, it's less about me and what I've done and more about that great procession of women who keep trying to do great things and make a difference. Any of us who have ever stuck our necks out to try and do something or make a difference know that you have to have the support of your family. And I'm so delighted that my husband, of 49 years, because I was a child bride, is here so that I can thank him for being 100% supportive for almost 50 years. Thank you, Keith. And my wonderful daughter, one of two wonderful daughters, who is here, who is a strong woman and is the mother of Annika, who at 7 months of age is proving that she will be the next generation of strong women in our family. As someone has noted already, a lot of change has occurred in my lifetime, in your lifetime. For women, there are many more opportunities than there were when I started out, when I wrote my first paper in college about women's lack of opportunity. And that paper and those studies led me to work for almost 30 years on advancing women's opportunities in the business world, and then more recently to advancing women's opportunities in elected office. There's been great progress, but we're still very much underrepresented in leadership and elected office. And so it's so important that the Board of Freeholders holds this ceremony to remind us that women are half the population, and so have half the energy, maybe more than half the energy, initiative, ambition, intelligence, more than half of the great hats, and probably more than half of the great voices, and that it's society's loss when they aren't fully represented. So thank you so much for this honor. I appreciate being included in the great procession of women who have received this honor. I'm very humbled by it, and it's a great reminder to us of what women have accomplished and what we still will accomplish. Thank you. Yes.
Well, we get to listen to that lovely voice one more time. And you know, a retired Air Force Major General, Marcelette Harris, she was the first African American female Major General in the United States. She talked about achieving things. And one of the things she said was that you first have to believe in yourself enough to believe that you can do it. And she said that people can beat the odds, with women in particular, can beat the odds with perseverance, ingenuity, and hard work. And I say that your album's going to be a success. Perseverance, ingenuity, and hard work. Ladies and gentlemen, Felicia Moss, one more time.
Thank you again. I just want to say real quickly, this particular song, it really needs to be dedicated to all of you that I'm standing before. I'm standing on the shoulders of great women in my family. And I dedicate this song to all of you. I'm not in politics, but I am in business. So the title of this song is I Look to You.
As I lay me down, heaven hear me now. I'm lost without a cause, after giving it my all. Winter storms have come and darkened my sun. After all that I've been through, who on earth can I turn to? I look to you. I look to you. After all my strength is gone, in you I can be strong. I look to you. You, I hear a song. I look to you. About to lose my breath. No more fighting left. Sinking to rise no more. searching for that open door. And every road that I've taken led to my regret. And sometimes I don't think I'm gonna make it. Nothing to do but lift my head. I look to you.
God bless you all. Thank you. Felicia Moss Eaton. Let's hear it one more time. Thank you for blessing us with that. Well, we're drawing to a close. One thing Gail didn't get an opportunity to do, and I want to ask her mom's brother and aunt to stand. Her family didn't get a chance to get recognized. I want to say that Deborah Collins is rocking those bangs just like Michelle Obama. And quiet as it's kept, Felicia, she does a little singing too in the choir at Elmwood Presbyterian. So, you know, telling secrets out of school. Pardon? Absolutely. And to Miss Johnson, there just must be a kindred spirit here, because I taught social studies too. You know what I mean? So right there. And I loved your words about people getting an opportunity and a chance. That's important. It's important for women in particular. And Gail, you put the seed in community activism and loving the community and putting your arms around the community. And God's going to continue to bless you and your work, because I know that you have some things that you yet want to do for members of the community and the children. So you're going to be hearing more from Gail Bell Barnett. I want to close with this, that Women's History Month is a time for us to remember. Remember those who fought to make freedoms as real for our daughters as for our sons. It was written out of a promise of the franchise. They were women who reached up to close the gap between what America was and what it could be and should be. They were driven by a faith that our union could extend true equality to every citizen who would claim it. Visionary women through history met and marched and mobilized to prove what should have been self-evident. They grew out of a meeting at Seneca Falls into a movement that touched every community and took on our highest institutions. That was written by our president, Barack Obama. March 8th was International Women's Day, and this month draws to a close, I am reminded of some heroes and sheroes. You know, probably our first shero was our mom. And I know for you, sitting here is pretty special because you get to see your shero in action. And I know that for Gail's daughter, you get to see your shero in office. And I think you said, well, no, okay. Well, your nieces and nephews get to see their shero in action. I like to say that Rosa Parks sat down so that we could stand up. Fannie Lou Hamer took a beating so we wouldn't have to. Sojourner Truth, Harriet Tubman worked their fingers to the bone to ensure that people would have liberties and a better life so that we could have a better life. Hillary Clinton put 18 million cracks in the glass ceiling so that Nia and I could break through. And Bella Abzug wore that hat best, didn't she? I know that the Shirley Chisholms of the world are looking back on us and all of the other great women throughout history. That long procession that you talk about, Ms. Johnson. And as I draw to a close, I'm going to ask her to do something that I've asked her to do many times before. So, Ms. Watson, please assume the position. I want her to stand here and turn around so that you can see the only woman to lead a freeholder board in the state of New Jersey. I want you to know that this brochure that you have is compliments of Freeholder President. And exactly. And you also have gifts or favors that have been provided. These are inspirational quotes, and she also indicated that she hopes that we enjoy the gift as well. Every time you open the purse and look at the reflection staring back at you, remember that you're beautiful, she says. Strong, smart, and have the ability to accomplish anything that you set your mind to. It doesn't matter what age, what race, color, or creed. You are a woman. God made you strong for a reason. It's never too late to follow your dream. March to your own beat. Make your own music. Stand tall and don't ever let anyone tell you that that woman in the mirror that's looking back at you can't. Just remember, you can, and all things are possible. So I want to thank our staff, our capable staff that's here. And for all their hard work. I want to acknowledge that our freeholder, Brendan Gill, is with us. He knows. So we had two of the guys, and they'll always tell you that they know they just kind of have to take a back seat. During these celebrations, we always say that people are a little bit whatever the celebration is. If it's African American History Month, we say, well, everybody's a little bit African American. If it's St. Patrick's Day or Irish, we say everyone is a little bit Irish. And for the Italian, we say everybody is a little bit Italian. Well, I know it's a little difficult for us to say that. I know it's difficult for us to say that everybody is a little bit feminine. So what I always say to my male colleagues and to the guys is that this gives you an opportunity to get in touch with your feminine side. But I do want to thank everybody. There's been a wonderful reception planned for you down the hall. We want to thank you. The last voice that you will hear closing us out is going to be that of our pastor, Layne Brooks, who brought us that wonderful invocation. After Pastor Brooks says the prayer, we're going to ask that the families of the honorees and the honorees themselves please stay in this area so that photos, the group photo and the individual photos can be taken. This is a great one. And you know, I can't help but, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to resist the temptation. I'm just going to say, ain't I a woman too? So guess what? We got things to do. I got miles to go before I sleep, everybody. We've got work to do. Ms. Watson, thank you very much. Pastor Brooks, will you please close us out?
If we can all stand, let us stand, those that can, and touch someone next to you. Because the one wonderful thing about this is understanding that we can't do this alone. And so when you touch hand to hand and breast to breast, you're reminded that when you're weak, somebody next to you is holding you up. Let us bow our heads. Father God, we come to you this evening just to say thank you. Thank you, Father, for the journey. Because on tonight, Father, people just see the end results. They don't understand the journey. And so, Father God, as we look to you on this evening, we ask that you will just continue to encourage each and every woman that's assembled in this place tonight. We ask the Father God that during the midnight hours where the tears are running, where the doubts are raging, that you will make yourself known to us, that we can go on, that we can proceed, that we will be great, and that everything that you've commissioned us to do, that our destinies that we are running towards, that we will win the race. We just thank you, Father, because there was a time when women were not honored. So we thank you for the opportunity on today to be honored, not just as great, but great women. We just thank you for everything that's been done on today. We thank you for putting this on the hearts of those that have put this program together. And as we leave this place, we ask that you will protect us, that you will keep us, that you will guide us. In the blessed name of Jesus, glory, hallelujah, and amen. Amen.
Meeting called to order. Will you please stand for the salute of the flag? Freeholder Beasley, will you please lead us in the salute?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have before me certification from the clerk that this meeting is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley.
Present.
Freeholder Bovadilla.
Present.
Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill.
Here.
Freeholder Johnson.
Present.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Owens.
Here.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo, absent. Freeholder President Watson.
Present. Before we move to the approval of transcripts, let me just take a few minutes to wish Freeholder Beasley a happy birthday. See, you didn't know I...
You sure didn't.
See, I know a lot of things I don't let on that I know. Okay, now if, normally Freeholder Johnson is a pretty good singer, but I don't think I'm going to ask him to sing happy birthday tonight.
Hold 1 second. I can give one verse.
Oh, okay, can you give...
Wait, hold
hold
it. I must say something.
Yes, please.
Because we share, my birthday is Saturday, so you get both of them.
Oh, we just give both of them. All right. Freeholder Owens and Freeholder Beasley. Come on, you guys.
Well, in my birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear colleagues. Happy birthday to you. And how?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, are there any transcripts to be approved?
Madam President, there is one. It's the conference meeting, February 20th, 2013.
Okay, Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second to approve the transcript? Freeholder Johnson and second by Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Okay. Question, comments, Freeholders? No questions? No comments? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley.
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill.
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano, absent. Freeholder Owens.
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo, absent. Freeholder President Watson.
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's move to the public comment session on agenda items. If there's any member of the public who would like to comment on agenda items, please come to the microphone, state your name and affiliation for the record, and you'll have a total of 3 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Peter Skopek. I'm a program associate with the New Jersey Public Interest Research Group. New Jersey PIRG is a statewide, nonprofit, nonpartisan advocacy organization, and I want to thank you tonight for considering Freeholder Gill's resolution in opposition to unlimited corporate and individual campaign spending. This is an important resolution that urges Congress to level the democratic playing field, and I appreciate that you're hearing our comments on this today. I've always believed that democracy does not mean that the size of an individual's wallet should determine the strength of her voice. I was taught to believe in a democracy that upholds the principle of one person, one vote. In such a democracy, legislators answer to their constituents rather than to moneyed special interests, and citizens feel that whatever contribution they can make to a campaign or to a cause truly does have an impact. Unaccountable special interests have for a long time had too much influence in our elections by virtue of the money that they can spend. As bad as this problem has been historically, the Supreme Court's 2010 Citizens United decision has really only made things worse. Outside spending groups spent more than $1 billion in the 2012 elections, which is more than triple what was spent in 2008. And it's not just the staggering amount of money that's being spent that's a problem, but additionally, the vast majority of this outside spending comes from really a tiny group of incredibly wealthy donors. It took just 32 of the top donors to super PACs to match every contribution by 3.7 million small donors to Obama and Romney combined. And when our campaign finance system encourages 32 millionaires and billionaires to outspend 3.7 million ordinary voters, we're promoting political inequality. We're sending the message to ordinary citizens that without billions in the bank, their interests just don't count. Now, the silver lining of Citizens United is that the public is finally waking up to the stifling effect that this unlimited money has on the power of ordinary voters. And this gives us an opportunity to do something profound and lasting to promote political equality in the United States. And thanks to a nationwide grassroots effort, 11 state legislatures, including New Jersey, as well as 500 cities, towns, and counties all across the country have already passed resolutions calling on Congress to fix our campaign finance system.
Okay, would you please try and
yes.
sum up for us? You have 30 seconds left.
Yes, thank you very much. So, again, I want to thank you for considering this resolution today to put Essex County on the record against unlimited spending in our elections and against this distorting influence of unlimited spending. And on behalf of New Jersey PIRG and its members, and on behalf of the members of the New Jersey Coalition for the Overturn of Citizens United, I urge you to approve this resolution and pass this resolution. Thank you very much.
Okay, and thank you for your comments, and I'm sure Freeholder Gill will speak on that a little later in the meeting. For the record, Madam Clerk, Freeholder Luciana is present. Thank you. If there's any member who would like to comment again on any issue, please come to the microphone and state your name and affiliation. For the record, again, you will have a total of 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Katie Park. I'm a freshman political science major at Rutgers Newark and a New Jersey PIRG student campaign coordinator on campus. I'm here today with my fellow students to urge you to pass the county's resolution in opposition to Citizens United. We're taught from a young age that the principle of one person, one vote is at the heart of the American democracy. But Citizens United has heightened political inequality and empowered special interests at the expense of average voters at every level of the government. Citizens United sends the message that the American democracy today is ruled by the principle of $1, one vote. Citizens United gives unprecedented power to special interests, and that has the power to hurt the public interest on many issues, including on issues that affect students like us. For example, student loans. Thanks to Citizens United, banks and private lenders can spend unlimited amounts of money to buy politicians' votes when student loan interest rates are being negotiated. New Jersey PIRG fought hard last summer to stop interest rates from doubling, and we won thanks to grassroots support from millions of students across the country. But who's to say that the lending industry won't create super PACs to drown us out with billions of dollars of political spending the next time around? Citizens United is making people lose faith in democracy. Research and recent polling have shown that Americans have become less likely to vote as a result of the ruling. And this is especially true among less wealthy individuals and people of color. Is this the message that we want to send to young, first-time voters? That since 2010, their vote doesn't count because they don't have billions of dollars in the bank. In the face of this staggering challenge to our democracy, it's more important than ever for us to stand up to special interests. If we don't, they'll drown out our voices for good. While we don't have super PACs or billion-dollar donors, we have people power. On Newark's Rutgers campus alone, we've collected more than 500 petitions to overturn Citizens United. We'll continue to mobilize our classmates and our community to level the democratic playing field and restore our democracy. We're counting on your support to do this. Ordinary voters have a right to be heard in our democracy. Please pass this resolution. Thank you.
And thank you for your comments. Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have anyone else who would like to speak at this time? No one else? Okay, Madam Clerk, are there any topics of discussion?
Madam President, there are none.
Okay, let's move to the introduction of ordinance number 1. Will you please read it?
Ordinance number 1. Bond ordinance amending bond ordinance O-2011-0013, finally adopted on October 26, 2011, by amending the purpose to include upgrade of elevators in academic megastructure in lieu of waterproofing of exterior masonry walls at Essex County College.
Okay, Freeholder, do I have a motion and a second to introduce ordinance number 1? Freeholder Beasley, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Bobadilla. Mr. McInerney, do you have any questions, comments?
No, just that this is, was in reference to the Essex County College. It's just a reallocation of funds to do one capital transaction as opposed to another.
Okay. Freeholders, additional questions, comments? None? Okay, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebald? Absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's, Madam Clerk, please schedule the ordinance for a public hearing, and let's move to the introduction of ordinance number 2. Please read it.
Ordinance number 2, refunding bond ordinance providing for the refunding of certain general obligation bonds of the County of Essex, New Jersey, appropriating $50 million, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $50 million bonds or notes of the county for financing the cost thereof.
Freeholders, questions, comments? Mr. McInerney?
Yes, last week, as I had indicated to you, I just needed a little bit more time to look at that ordinance. And basically what it is, it's a sale of $43 million worth of bonds to take out. It's $43,165,000 worth of bonds. We were able to secure a premium of $3 million on the sale of those bonds, which means not that we're getting something for free, we're actually increasing the interest rate on the bonds that we're selling at a higher interest rate than market. That generated an amount of cash along with the sale of the bonds to go into a sinking fund. So we still have 2 outstanding sets of bonds for $43 million, except that the bonds that we sold are going to defease the bonds that were currently outstanding. And as a result of that, over a period of time, the 15-year term of the bonds, we will save $2.6 million. And that $2.6 million is taken ratably over the term of the bonds. We're not upfronting the savings for next year's budget. It's about $300,000 a year, and it just moves ratably every year on a straight line basis, so that the actual debt service reduction each year on those bonds would have been reduced by, or is going to be reduced by, $300,000.
Okay, freeholders, questions? No questions, no comments, freeholders? Okay, Madam Clerk, please schedule ordinance 2 for a public hearing. And let's move to resolutions 1 through 6. We'll read into the record at a later time. Mr. Sheller, we don't have anyone coming before the board this evening. I think we heard all of the new commissioners on aging, the members' appointments.
Through Madam President, yes, we did have the one new member, Ms. Romano, before us last week. And the rest are reappointments.
So we good?
We're good, Madam President.
Oh, okay. All righty, then we are reading to the record resolutions 1 through 6 at a later time, Madam Clerk. Do I have a motion and a second from the freeholders to take resolutions 1 through 6?
I'll move it, Madam President.
Moved by Freeholder Gill, second by Freeholder Owens. Question, comments on the resolutions? No questions, no comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla? Yes. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebald, absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, let's move to resolutions 20 through 24. And you can read it at this time.
Resolution 20, 2013, temporary emergency appropriation from the state of New Jersey Department of Transportation for South Orange Avenue, Glenview Road, intersection, South Orange, Essex County. Department of Public Works, $317,274. Resolution 21, 2013, grant agreement and temporary emergency appropriation from the state of New Jersey Department of Transportation for Essex County Annual Transportation Program, Department of Public Works, $5,427. $5,427,200. Resolution 22, 2013, temporary emergency appropriation from the United States Department of Justice. It's a justice program for Bulletproof Vest Partnership Program, Department of Corrections, $7,144. Resolution number 23, 2013, grant agreement and temporary emergency appropriation from the State of New Jersey Department of Human Services for Personal Assistance Services Program, Division of Community Health Services, $130,000. Resolution number 24, 2013, temporary emergency appropriation from the State of New Jersey Office of the Attorney General, Division of Criminal Justice for Community Justice Grant, Office of the Prosecutor, $49,200.
Madam Clerk, for the record, Freeholder Luciana is present.
Thank you.
Okay, let's continue. Freeholders, I'm asking for a motion to take resolutions 20 through 24 together, all temporary emergency appropriations. Do I have a motion? Moved by Freeholder Johnson, second by Freeholder Beasley.
Oh, that was
No, that was Johnson.
Thank you. And Beasley, Madam President, second?
Beasley, second.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion on the motion, question, comments? No questions, no comments, roll call.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla? Yes. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Seabold, absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk, we go to resolution 7, 10, 11. Let's take the three together. We'll read them to the record at a later time. Freeholders, do I have a motion and a second to take resolutions 7, 10, and 11 together? Moved by Freeholder Bobadilla. Do I have a second by Freeholder Owens? Question, comments, Freeholders? Mr. McInerney, question, comments?
None.
Okay, no questions, no comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk. We're taking 7, 10, and 11.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla? Yes. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Seabold, absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's take resolution 12. Would you please read it?
Resolution 12, Department of Administration and Finance, Office of Purchasing, a resolution authorizing the County of Essex to accept and award only in accord with the terms and conditions of this resolution an electricity purchase contract for the Essex Hudson Regional Energy Procurement Cooperative for the lowest kilowatt per hour rate available at the electrical energy market at the time of bid.
Freeholder, do I have a motion to take resolutions 12? Second, and a second.
I'll move it, Madam
Moved by Freeholder Luciano. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Owens. Mr. McInerney, question, comments?
No questions.
Freeholders, questions, comments? I think the information that was requested by the freeholders, I think we received it. Freeholder Bobadilla? Yes, very good. You were satisfied with the answer? Yes, very good. Okay, we at resolution 12, freeholders, no questions, no comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla? Yes. Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Seabold, absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, for the audience, viewing audience, and for those that are sitting in the chambers, this is our board meeting. At our last conference meeting last week, we reviewed all of the resolutions, discussed the resolutions at length, and tonight is our regular board meeting, and we are voting on the resolutions before us. So with that, we'll move to resolution 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. You can read it into the record at this time.
Okay. And you want me to read all of them to the
Yes.
record? Through 19, okay? Resolution 13, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, Contract Award, to Top Line Construction, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the resurfacing of Branchbrook Park Road and Turtle Back Zoo parking lot, 30-day contract, amount not to exceed $840,488.05. Resolution 14, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Sugar Proper Services Incorporated, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the restoration of cart paths at golf courses, 60-day contract, amount not to exceed $388,464. Resolution number 15, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, contract award to Dell Tech Incorporated, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder for the rehabilitation of Kipps Castle, 300 calendar day contract, amount not to exceed $1,432,850. Resolution number 16, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, resolution consenting to the Borough of Caldwell resolution entitled Resolution Designating Described Locations in the Borough of Caldwell as bus stops. Resolution number 17, Department of Public Works, Division of Engineering, resolution consenting to the Borough of Caldwell resolution entitled Resolution Authorizing Installation of a Bus Shelter at the Ryerson Avenue Bus Stop. Resolution number 18, Department of Public Works, Division of Planning, resolution consenting to the proposed water quality management plan amendment entitled Essex County Wastewater Management Plan, Northeast Water Quality Management Plan. Resolution number 19, Department of Public Works, Division of Fleet Management, contract award to F&S Tire Corp. Incorporated, the lowest responsive and responsible bidder to furnish and deliver specialty tires and tire repair services, 1-year agreement, amount not to exceed $60,000.
Thank you. Freeholders will take resolution 13 through 19. I'll ask for question comments on 13. None? 14? 15? Yes, Freeholder Gill.
15, I wanted to, through you, Madam President, thank the county for their response to the issues raised at the last meeting regarding Kipps Castle. Just two quick issues that I wanted to put on the record. One, I have received contact from the mayor and deputy mayor of Montclair, and also a couple of the council folks in Verona, with some concern that this would, the action that we're about to take would mean increased usage, a different issue of the site. One of the issues pertains particularly to the Conservancy, which governs Kipps Castle, and the fact that they're currently, and I'm not sure, I shouldn't say this is at least what was communicated, that there currently is no representation on the Conservancy from the immediate neighborhood. I guess meaning people who live either in the Crestmont or in the buildings that are surrounding the facility. One, I'm very satisfied with the long-term, plan that I viewed, for the Conservancy, and I think it was important to put on, for the Kipps Castle. I think it was important to put on the record that this was an attempt by the county to protect open space, and I think that's, in an historic building, and I think that the administration should be commended for that. But in addition to that, just to make sure that if we could maybe look to have representation or at least further input from the neighborhood as it pertains to usage, because I am getting some complaints about buses coming in and out, and notification of the neighborhood when events are held at that location.
Okay, Ralph, would you like to respond to the comment from Freeholder Gill?
Yeah, we will definitely look into it. I was under the impression when the Conservancy was formed, a good percentage of members were part of that immediate neighborhood.
Okay, good.
We will look at it to make sure that there may not have been individuals that did not sign on again, but obviously it's our interest to include them as part of that Conservancy. In terms of additional activities, we are limited in scope with the footprint of that property. So in terms of usage, I'm not quite sure, but we do notify the municipalities as well as the community when there are events regarding parking and things of that nature. So we're very mindful of respecting the community with their activities up there.
It's through you, Madam
Yes,
President.
continue,
this,
Freeholder
this expenditure, again, just to maybe assure that this expenditure does not necessarily mean a dramatic change in usage.
Through you, Madam President, if you look at our response that the board had last week, we do not see a drastic increase in revenues because of these repairs. As I mentioned last week, most of the repairs are for the water tightening of the building, the roof, the windows, ADA accessibility, and bathroom ADA accessibility. So it's really not creating massive additional space at the facility.
Okay. And the question that I think Freeholder Owens wanted to know what was the cost, the original price of purchase on the building. Did we respond to Freeholder Owens?
Yes, Madam President. I believe we responded to you in writing. Actually, the purchase was in 2007. It was $5.6 million. It was broken down. The county received a $2.8 million grant from Green Acres to purchase, as well as a matching $2.8 million from the Essex County Open Space Trust Fund. So the entire purchase price came from 50-50, Green Acres from the state and our open space program.
Are you satisfied with that response?
Yes, I am.
Very good. Okay, Freeholders, additional questions, comments? No additional questions, comments? Okay, Madam Clerk, Freeholder, let's move to Resolution 16. Question, comments on 16? Okay, question, comments on 17? 18? And 19? Okay, I have a mover and second, right, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, no further questions?
Oh, no, Madam President.
No, I don't.
No.
Okay, do I have a mover on Resolution 13 through 19? We'll vote on all together as one.
I'll move that, Madam President.
Moved by Freeholder Luciana. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Owens. We are voting Freeholders on Resolution 13 through 19. No further questions, comments, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla? Freeholder Clark? Absent. Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebold? Absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's go to Resolution 25. Please read it into the record. And let's take 27 along with that, okay?
Resolution 25, Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs, approval acceptance of letter of agreement from the New Jersey Historic Trust for the Discover New Jersey History Grant number 6924849, $3,000. Resolution number 27, Department of Parks, Recreation and Cultural Affairs, contract award to Aquatic Technologies Incorporated for the monitoring and chemical control of algae and aquatic vegetation in various park locations, exercising 2-year option, amount not to exceed $46,346.24.
Okay, freeholders, Mr. McInerney first, do you have any questions, comments on 25, 27? Freeholders, questions, comments? Okay, do I have a motion to take Resolution 25, 27 together?
I'll move it.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Beasley. Question, comments, Freeholders, on 25, 27. No questions, no comments. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark, absent. Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebold, absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, let's take Resolution 28 and 29 we take together.
Resolution number 28, Department of Health and Rehabilitation Division of Hospital Center 2-year affiliation agreement with Montclair State University. Resolution number 29, Office of the Sheriff, authorization to use the competitive contracting process for upgrades and complete maintenance coverage of existing NICE system.
Okay, Freeholder, do I have a motion and a second to take resolutions 28 and 29 together? And for the record, Madam Clerk, Freeholder Clark is present. We are on 28 and 29, Freeholder Clark.
I'll move.
Moved by Freeholder Johnson.
Yes.
Second by Freeholder Owens. Okay, we're taking 28 and 29 together, Freeholders. Question, comments on 28? 29. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla? Freeholder Clark?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo, absent. Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Freeholders, we'll take resolution 30 through 38, all commendation resolutions. Do I have a motion to take resolution 30 through 38 together? I'll move that, Madam Clerk. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Freeholder Owens. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla? Freeholder Clark?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, read into the record resolution 39, Madam Clerk.
Resolution 39, resolution in support of a constitutional amendment limiting corporate and individual spending in our elections, sponsored by Freeholder Gill.
Okay, before I call on the other freeholders to ask questions, Freeholder Gill, would you like to make comments on this resolution?
Thank you, Madam President. I'll be brief. This is not a county issue per se, but one that was brought to my attention both through my aide Tunde, who's in the audience tonight, and who's a student at Rutgers Newark, and his work with the NJ-PIRG. Probably everyone on the board is very familiar with NJ-PIRG and their work throughout the state, and this issue of limiting corporate and individual spending in our elections is a serious one. I think we heard from the students and the representatives in NJ-PIRG earlier in the evening, and I would encourage all of my members to the board to support this resolution. Thank you, Madam President, for allowing it to be posted and to be heard. And I'd also like to particularly thank Peter Skopek and Katie Park, who I think we heard from earlier today from NJ-PIRG, and I think they did a much more eloquent job than I could of expressing why this is important and why it's important to have a grassroots movement to speak out on this issue. Thank you, Madam President.
And thank you for your comments and alerting the board, or advising the board the purpose of this resolution. Mr. Polybecker, do you have any comments on this? I know we spoke, I wanted to make sure that everything was in place. I just need you to put that on record.
Sure, yeah, everything is in, sometimes when we do these resolutions, they're tailored to support a particular piece of pending legislation in the state. This is not that. This is even, as some of the speakers said and Freeholder Gill said, this is more of a grassroots movement that I think recognizes this is a long road ahead of it, but there is certainly some momentum to make this change. And to get a constitutional amendment is not something, obviously, that happens very quickly, but I think the belief is with the support of local and state governments that this is something they can accomplish.
Okay, very good. Freeholders, questions? Freeholder Clark.
Other than to say that the part that jumps out at me and that I can actually relate to is that everybody, that there should be a level playing field, and that all citizens, regardless of what their economic status is, should have an opportunity to have their political views heard. And as such, I'm not exactly sure how, PERG defines that portion of it, meaning the ability or the opportunity to have your views heard. But I would hope that what you mean by that is that there should be public access to, like, say, television or radio for everybody, regardless of whether or not you can pay large sums of money for airtime, especially if you have things like public access channels. Then in elections and election cycles, people should be able to tune into them so that people can hear them. Things like Channel 13 and those other ones that you see the little advertisement. This is made possible by, public radio, public network, yada, yada, yada. That's the kind of stuff that I hope this does speak to, because it will level the playing field. And whether you have $100,000 or whether you have $10,000 or whether you have $100, you'll both be able to get a commercial on there and have your views heard. So that's what I hope you mean by this, and I hope it happens as a result of it.
Okay, Mr. Polyvecchio, before I come back to the freeholders.
One thing I did fail to add was New Jersey PERG supplied us with a good deal of information, and what I thought was telling was this is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. It's really a bipartisan issue, that spending is, one party has not cornered the market on excessive spending. So I think this is something, regardless of your partisan leanings, it's a pretty balanced approach that they're taking.
Okay, freeholders, let me ask, Freeholder Gill, will you move the motion to take Resolution 39?
I'll move it, so moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Freeholder Clark. Additional discussion, comments, freeholders? No comments, no further discussion. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Freeholder Beasley?
Yes.
Freeholder Bobadilla?
Yes.
Freeholder Clark?
Yes.
Freeholder Gill?
Yes.
Freeholder Johnson?
Yes.
Freeholder Luciano?
Yes.
Freeholder Owens?
Yes.
Freeholder Vice President Sebo, absent Freeholder President Watson?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Madam President.
Yes, Freeholder Clark.
Before we go any further into the agenda, I would like to have my vote recorded in the affirmative on agenda items, resolutions 1 through 30, where I just picked up. 1 through 27.
Okay, Madam Clerk.
Yes.
So moved.
Would you
Yes, it will be
mark me
yes.
in the affirmative on
Yes.
resolutions 1 through 27? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, freeholders, report of board committees, Madam Clerk. Legislative report.
And Madam President, there are no added stars.
Okay. Report of board committees, legislative reports, written communication, unfinished business. Freeholder Clark.
Madam President, through you, Mr. Chilella, I know we had an opportunity to speak offline about an item that was removed from the agenda. And is there any way that you have any update on that? Because the social service agencies that are affected by it, if we have to wait much longer.
Through you, Madam President, I think Freeholder Clark is referring to the community service SBG block grants. I believe they are on the agenda for the next Freeholder meeting, April the 2nd.
Okay. May I ask this? That meeting, Madam President, would be a conference meeting, correct?
Yes.
Okay. May I ask that we put it on for action and not just for discussion, and that we then move it expeditiously, or ask the administration, if we put it on for action and then ask that the administration move it expeditiously, like immediately, so that those funds can begin to be dispersed to those social service agencies, and that people who are in need will be able to take advantage of them. Because if we don't move it that quickly, we'll wind up being in May before the disbursements are actually made to the agencies. Is that something?
Through you, Madam President, I believe at our leadership meeting, if I'm not mistaken, I believe we requested action item on this.
Did.
But I will double check with the clerk in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, because I'm just, you know what I mean, because this was something that, technically speaking, should have been in the agency's hands by the beginning of the year. So
Rabbi, we'll discuss that a little more in detail next week to find out why that resolution is coming to the board at a later date than it should have.
Precisely.
Are we on schedule, or are we behind schedule with that?
Through you, Madam President, as we discussed at leadership, there was a change in the way the state had recorded this grant program. I believe they went to an online system, which created some delays on our side. But I will assure the board that no services were not provided by the vendors. They have been providing the service, and we want to make sure that we provide this board with the resolution. This board can approve it, and then we can get the vendors paid for the services that they've been provided. But there was a delay in terms of how we normally draw down the money from the state, and I believe we've corrected that. I believe we've made some strides, and I can attest to the board that on that particular program, that should not ever happen again.
Okay, very good. Because we've been on time with most of our grants. We normally submit our grants on a timely basis in order that we might receive the funding from the state. So we look forward to putting that on for next week.
Yes, thank you, Madam President.
Additional unfinished business, freeholders? New business. New business? Okay, we'll go back to the public comment session. Do we have anyone from the public who would like to speak at this time? Please come to the microphone, state your name, affiliation, and you have 3 minutes to speak.
Good evening, my name is Jeremy Beborah. Quick comment about item number 45, resolution number 38. I'm just wondering, with all the business of the county going on, and all that there is to do, and all that there is to talk about, and all that there is to discuss, that the board has time to honor and proclaim commendation for a bunch of government clerks sitting around and having lunch. I think that these types of minor office occasions are not the sort of thing that necessarily warrant such high recognition from the Freeholder Board. The only thing I'm thinking about is I'm wondering how many people are not being served while they're all sitting around having lunch to celebrate Women's History celebration.
What resolution are you speaking on so that we would be able to... 38?
Yes, item
Okay,
45 on the agenda.
I just wanted to make sure I understood which resolution you're speaking on.
And also, I believe the word occasion is spelled incorrectly. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Maybe item 38.
No, he says resolution 38. And we will give you a response because I think you have the wrong information on this particular... don't come back to the mic. We will respond back to you in writing so that we could clarify your thoughts and the information that you might have received on this particular occasion. Thank you. Do we have anyone else from the audience who would like to speak on any issue at this time?
Again, my name is Peter Skopek. I'm with New Jersey PIRG. I just wanted to thank you for passing this important resolution to create a level democratic playing field. Freeholder Clark, in response to your question about creating this level playing field, one of the most important things we think is to create a democracy that promotes small donor participation rather than the billion-dollar donor participation that we're seeing at the moment. So certainly better access to channels of communication, mass communication would be part of that. But we certainly think that creating more small donor participation in our democracy is one of the fundamentals of creating a level democratic playing field. So thank you again very much.
Thank you. Additional comments from the audience at this time? If not, then we'll go to Freeholder comment session. Do we have anyone from Freeholder Bobadilla?
I just want to thank the administration, in particular Dan Talvanti, for clearing up some issues with some down trees that were unresolved on Bloomfield Avenue. And within 24 hours of making a phone call, I was very shocked, but not so surprised that action was swift and the problem was resolved. So I just want to thank the administration and acknowledge Dan for his help. And in a separate matter, I want to comment on the dissolution of the Newark Watershed Conservation and Development Board. As a homeowner here in Newark, and as a taxpayer, I'm really troubled at the mismanagement of this entity and what it has done for putting our city in jeopardy, especially with such a huge asset, which has been poorly mismanaged at every single level. And a year and a half ago, I was strongly opposed to the creation of the Municipal Utility Authority for, it was anticipated that they were going to issue bonds to basically, cover the debt. Really poorly mismanaged entity. And I just want to put the public on notice that we need to keep an eye on this, because this is something that could greatly affect our rates here in Newark and greatly affect a huge asset that the city has. And so I just want to bring that to attention. So thank you.
Very good. Freeholder Owens.
Madam Chair, I would like to just commend you and Sister Clark, Freeholder Clark, about the Women's History Month celebration that I witnessed today. I'd like to commend both of you for doing a beautiful job. And I say to my other colleagues that they missed a real nice presentation, and that the singing by the young lady, what's her name?
Felicia Moss.
Yeah,
Felicia Moss Eaton was outstanding, and I'm sure she's going to be successful. Thank you.
very good. And I'm sure Freeholder Clark, you would like to make comments on the Women's History Month?
Madam President, you usually let her finish it up. She's usually the finishing
all righty.
touch.
I'll let her finish it up. Freeholder Jones.
let her close it out.
And then I'll come back to Freeholder Gill.
Yes, I just want to say to my colleagues and to any of our viewing audience that we have a delegation that's flew in tonight from Puerto Rico. There's 45 youth, junior high school girls, junior high school boys, and high school boys who will be playing an array of games for the next couple of days here in Essex County. And it starts tomorrow. They'll be in Nutley playing junior high girls, junior high boys, and the high school boys. Friday, we will be at Newark Tech, our very own Newark Tech. At Newark Tech, we will have Arts High's high school boys team playing the team from Puerto Rico, the high school, and we'll have a junior high team from Chancellor Annex playing. Then on Saturday, we will finish up with Arts High's boys high school playing against Shabazz Boys High School, and then Newark Tech, our very own Newark Tech, who just did very well in the States, will be playing the team from Puerto Rico. So it'll be a fun-filled Easter weekend coming up with basketball. And Monday, they will be here for a tour. They will be here at 10 o'clock, so any of our colleagues that would like to join us in the tour of the facilities with this delegation, because they're going to have parents also, so it's a group of about 80 people.
Very good. Okay, additional comments? Freeholder Gill.
But thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to echo what Freeholder Owens had an opportunity to participate in the ceremony today honoring Women's History Month, and I thought it was tremendous and very well done. And congratulations to you, Madam President, to Freeholder Clark. As don't want to steal Freeholder Clark's thunder, but as she always takes an opportunity to point out, which I think is important and cannot be said enough, I do believe that we are the only county freeholder board to be led both in our president and vice president, our leadership, to have an all-women leadership team, which I think says a lot for this county statewide. I'd also like to thank Freeholder Johnson on Saturday evening and attended an event that I was not able to get to, but presented a proclamation that both that he sponsored and I sponsored for Sergeant Michael Frisano and his retirement from the Bloomfield Police Department. So Freeholder Johnson, thank you for making that presentation and being there always. And with that, I think, again, congratulations to you, Madam President, on a tremendous event in recognition of our women leadership that we have here on this board and in the state.
Thank you so much. Freeholder Clark, you want to...
Finishing touch.
I can back clean up here. That's all right. I just want to say thank you. Mr. Abramowitz brought an insightful comment about the 69-cent button. And of course, I'll never forget it either. And if I could paraphrase your story, Mr. Abramowitz, he said it was in reference to the fact that at one point in time, he was actually a member of the International Ladies Garment Union. And the 69-cent button actually represented what women felt they were worth in terms of their pay scale in conjunction to that of a man. And of course, pay scales are better now, but there's still a disparity. Things are better now, but there is still a gender gap. We are working on it, but as Senator Ruiz likes to say oftentimes, when God made, man, it was his rough draft. But when he made woman, that was his masterpiece.
I love that.
I like to believe.
Look at the smile. Look at the half smiles that you're receiving around the room.
No, but I really want to thank the gentleman on this freeholder board, and I do say that in all sincerity because we have gentlemen who are part of this freeholder board, and it's a pleasure actually to serve with them. And we have ladies par excellence. We have the grand stateswoman, our president who gets it done, our clerk who gets it done, and all of the people who support us. And I'll say it again, I always say it. In March, we're a little bit Irish. In October, we're a little bit Italian. In February, we're a little bit black, African American. Hopefully in May, we might institute something that we've never instituted before, which is Asian American Month. We might want to look at that. And of course, our videographer is like, yeah, let's go. And certainly in April, we remember the Holocaust. So, In March, it's Women's History Month. So I'm not asking you all to be a little bit female. I am asking you, however, to make sure that in the month of March, you get in touch with your feminine side. Make sure you do that. Oh, Ralph pulled out his purse. Oh, thank you, Ralph.
You're holding your purse, Ralph.
Ralph pulled out
Card carrier member.
Ralph, but you know what? I knew we could count on you. I knew we could count on you. He and I are getting ready to celebrate a birthday soon. I'm on one day and he's on the next. But yeah, you, Madam Chair, you gave us the purse. You gave us the book of quotes. And you told us that when we pull out that purse, which actually is a mirror, make sure you look at the reflection looking back at you. And I think that would hold true, as Ralph had, so aptly pointed out. That could be for a man or a woman. You look at that.
Ralph, do you have one for your wife?
I was going to give this to her.
All right. Make sure she receives
Well, now, I'll tell you, Madam President, we have to give Ralph another purse, though.
Okay.
Because it's for a little girl who, when she grows up,
she'll have that
her
purse.
grandpapa will be able to give it to her and let her
another purse for
understand that the woman looking back at her is indeed special. So thank you for a wonderful evening. And it was a great celebration.
Make sure you give my little angel her purse. Very good.
And Madam President, one last thing for the record. Woman, you are wearing that hat.
Oh, I was just going to comment on my hat. And I'll tell you why I'm wearing this hat. Today, I attended the Essex County Division of Welfare Office of Special Services, and I was the guest speaker. And the women that came to the affair, we were asked to wear hats. Had nothing to do with the work that was being performed. Everybody still had their clients to meet. They had no interruption. What we did today had nothing to do with the interruption of taking care of the county of Essex. And the luncheon that we had, it was paid for by individuals who attended the luncheon. But let me just say that it was inspirational, because we have to continue to let the women, not only in this county, but in this country, understand that we're not there yet. And we have to keep talking about it. And just like we celebrate every other ethnic group in this county, just like we celebrate Children's Week, we celebrate Veterans Week, of course we're not going to disregard Women's History Month. So we will be celebrating Women's History Month in the county of Essex. And I want to commend the Welfare Office of Special Services. They honored women that had served 40 years, have worked in Essex County for 40 years, and this was an opportunity for them to let them know that we appreciate what each and every one of them, what they do on a daily basis, because it's not easy working in that particular office. I think that's the hardest job in the county, when they have to meet people every day who's hungry, who's homeless, who don't have bread on their tables, can't get their Social Security. These are the people that they see each and every day, and we have to stop and say to this office, we thank you. And that's what we did today. And it was a beautiful, beautiful office. But to the gentleman that came to the mic, we will still respond to you, but I had to explain to them why I'm wearing this hat. Okay, and thank you so much, freeholders. I appreciate the support that you give me each and every day. And I said to Michael, though, I thought I had to pull out my whip, but I see everything is back going great. I don't have to pull out my whip, freeholders. You're doing just wonderful. So you know what I'm talking about. But thank you for being supportive of me and supportive of the county that you serve so well. So with that, I think, Madam Clerk, are we done with the agenda?
Yes, Madam.
Okay, motion. Oh, no, I have one other thing to do before we close out.
I got so caught up in your hat story.
You love my hat story. It was a beautiful occasion, though. March 20th, we had freeholders' questions. No questions from the audience. The questions came from our budget consultant, Mr. Frank McInerney. He received his response today, and I'm not going through all of it. Freeholder Brendan Gill asks that the board be kept abreast of progress on the legislation in Trenton regarding early voting, and that response went out to Freeholder Gill on the 27th. Freeholder Bobadilla asks for information about how entities and libraries might apply to participate in the program. That correspondence went back out to the freeholder on the 22nd. Budget consultant McInerney asked to be kept abreast via reports showing how much of the 2000 capital budget has been encountered for parks. The response went out on the 27th. Freeholder Owens asked the question for a cost-benefit analysis, and we talked about that this evening. The response went out on the 27th. Freeholder Carol Clark asked the administration to speak with NJ Transit regarding the possibility of installing a bus shelter on the corner of Main Street. That response went out on the 27th. And again, Freeholder Clark asked the administration to check with our congressional delegation to see if any federal grants might be available for the potential project to restore the lake in Weekway Park. The response went out to Freeholder Clark on the 27th. So let me thank the administration again for your quick responses. And let me thank you for responding to me on an issue that we had, and it was well taken care of. I appreciate that, and I think that we are all clear, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
And after the meeting wrap, I just want to speak with you briefly about it. Okay, if no further business, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So motion made.
And a second.
Today.